So recently, I got something fairly exciting in the mail. Nemesis Lockdown. Now, I am trying to, of course, make this, again, a review under 10, but in all honesty, there is quite a bit to unpack here. See what I did there? I'm sure you saw what I did there. Anyway, so getting through the initial stage of obviously, getting into the box itself, I don't know what compelled me to include this particular piece of footage, but for me, honestly, that first unpacking is always the most exciting part. I can't lie. So, as always, with everything that is Awaken Realms, it is packed excellently. It's very protected by a layer of foam, and the foam is actually molded to fit all of the components darn near perfectly. So what we have so far, this is what I ordered, is the updated crew for the original Nemesis, which I own. I absolutely adore Nemesis. I got the terrain expansion, which I missed the first time around, and that's also from the first one. We have the stretch goals for Nemesis Lockdown. And of course, last but not least, we have Nemesis Lockdown itself. Now, this box is massively heavy, and it is packed to the brim with excellent materials and content. So I'm quite excited. And one thing I did forget is I also ordered the Untold Stories Book 2, and it comes with Book 3 as well. And it came with the Dice Tower promos, and as well a couple of extra tokens here for the expansion or whatnot. Now, with that all taken care of, we move over to the box itself. Now, I had to switch cameras here because obviously it was getting kind of hard for me to hold the phone that I was using and unbox the game as well. Now, I have recorded over the audio, or you would hear that sweet sound of plastic coming off of a brand new game. I'm quite fond of that. Maybe next time I'll do a little bit of ASMR and leave it in there. So, opening the game and giving it the first glance, as always, the first thing you see is the rulebook, which is, per Awaken Realms, is actually laid out very well. So we have the game manual on top. We have the quick reference cards that have the rooms and the rules summaries. And then we have the cardboard itself. We've got the laboratory. We've got the different characters. And we also have the rooms and all the tokens you need, plus the board. Now, the one thing I do regret not getting this time around was the neoprene mats. I kind of wish I had gotten all of the neoprene mats as well. Now, once again, the inserts for Awaken Realms games are usually very, very nice. Plenty of storage space and plenty of protection for your miniatures and whatnot. So as you can see, we've got all of the miniatures in their proper places. We've got the little player stations. We have all of the cards ready to go. And everything is packed quite nicely, with only a couple of them jarred around enough to change locations. Now, as we can see, as goes the quality for Awaken Realms, excellent quality on the miniatures. And the cards are all packed quite nicely, with plenty of room to spare for sleeving the cards and or possibly adding expansions or whatnot into the box. So I'm going to pack all of this back away. Right? You can see all the tokens and whatnot there in their baggies. And everything unlike with some games, and I've had this problem in the past, everything packs very well together. So once you get it out of there, it's fairly easy to get everything back in. The only issue that I had putting it back in is I had a piece of the insert that was kind of bent, skewed a little bit, so that was giving me some problems. Now the next thing was open up the stretch goals. So you have the manual, you have the Untold Stories 3, which of course was a stretch goal, and you have the laboratory and a corrupted laboratory, and I don't quite remember all of the details of the expansion, plus some baggies, tokens, all the new miniatures for this particular expansion as well. And the components in this, obviously, of course, are of the same excellent quality. So we got a little rover miniature, which I believe is the first player token, and we have some doors, love terrain. Probably going to get some use in Necromunda or something as well. And we have all of our other miniatures. That thing is suitably disgusting. I quite like it. And little tokens here, the cubes. I'm not exactly sure what those are for yet. I still have to read the rules and get familiar with the game itself. But as you can see, we have the everything here. And of course, I always have that compulsion to check underneath all of the components, because like with above and below, sometimes there's an extra card or whatnot stuck under there, just as a kind of a surprise type thing. Not that I'm saying it was supposed to be here. All right, so moving on to the miniatures for the actual replacement miniatures from the original game. The first round of miniatures in the original Nemesis were not bad, but they were not up to this particular quality. And as you can see here, if my camera will focus properly, it actually is very, very good quality. I'm actually quite happy with how these miniatures look. And I can't wait to eventually throw some paint on them as well. Hopefully I will actually get around to putting paint on them, because I did paint my original Nemesis box, at least the core. I haven't painted the expansions. On to the terrain pack here. The terrain pack is not a necessity, but it's something that I wanted from the first Kickstarter, and I unfortunately missed the first Kickstarter, but then I was able to pick up a Kickstarter copy later. So the terrain expansion is just for pure aesthetic reasons. Now, I do have all the components here, and I have unboxed a couple pieces, and I punched everything out and put everything where it's supposed to where it's supposed to go, including the intruder tokens, the player boards, and all of the acrylic pieces. Now, a lot of these things, I'm going to go ahead and leave them in the bag because it makes it easier to store the box. You've got your little wound dials that you have to put together. Those are cardboard with a little plastic piece, not unlike the movement dials for the Fantasy Flight Star Wars stuff. The bottom, what I did was, the only thing I haven't unpacked the cards yet, but I did put the tiles down there. And as I'm demonstrating here, you actually have to make sure that the tiles are kind of pushed right back to where they need to be, so you can get this plastic piece back on. See, because they fit in there, but you have to fit them in there properly. And that's the only thing that I've come up with so far that need a little bit of finagling. So everything fits really nicely with plenty of room, and I'm quite happy with the game. I can't wait to get it to the table. Hopefully, I'll be able to get it to the table more than I've gotten the original to the table, which is only about 2 or 3 times. So if you like what you see, like and subscribe, and consider joining me on Patreon. I would really appreciate it.